So I've been kind of stumped how to proceed here. I want to have whatever surface is here level with this, and I'm going to cover this surface here with pavers, so there's like a little landing pad here that will allow one to like take a wheelbarrow off into the lawn or off under the trees. If I continue this course over here, it's too low. If I put a second course, it's too high. If I end with these guys on end instead of these guys, I don't like that look so much. I think for my next trick, I know for sure I want to shave some of this off. Not entirely though, necessarily. I wouldn't mind a little bit of a slope. So I guess I'm going to shave off this high spot. I guess I'm committed to these. I had been uncommitted in case I wanted to tear them up and do something again, but you know, I've been looking at this for a few days. It's not entirely straight, but I don't mind. I don't mind. It's supposed to look rustic anyway. So I will shave off this high spot, fill in here with the dirt, and see where we're at. I think I've settled on a solution here for the end of this path. This is the extent I think I want to go with the planter wall block, because that's pretty much what's needed for the retaining wall function given the slope we've got here. Kind of makes a trip hazard out of this. Anyway, I need to reconsider that. But anyway, in general, this will be level with these bricks, covered by these pavers, and these pavers will extend all the way back here. This is where the mulch and the hardware fabric ends here. That makes a relatively symmetrical paver area on both sides of the standpipe. I think that will be aesthetically pleasing. And this will be a slight ramp up from the level of the mulch to the east side. So if there's one discovery from this project that I really like to commemorate it with this video, it's these stakes, these landscaping stakes that came with the really thick kind of edging, plastic bender board edging. They are 1¼ inch wide and 5/8 inch thick, and that 5/8 inch thickness is a perfect gauge for the spacing between these pavers. So I turn them sideways and use the 5/8 inch width as a gauge for spacing. Then I can turn them the other way and use the pointed ends and wedge the ends in the gaps between the pavers and lever them around to jog their position for fine adjustment. They turned out to be really handy for that. I decided on vertically oriented upturned pavers to define the ends of this pad, the ends that are not bordered by the existing bricks or garden wall blocks. And those are really embedded in very well compacted roadbed aggregate stuff. I hope they stay put. I decided against concrete. We'll just try the roadbed. Hope that works. And the rest of this native dirt is really also well compacted. Several rounds of compacting and wetting and compacting again. And I've started to spread on top of that some sand as a bed for the pavers. So I'm spreading a pile of sand over the remaining area, and I'm using cable puller fish sticks just laid out to help me level the sand. I'm just scraping that flat with a wooden yardstick as I lay out the rest of the pavers. So I'm thinking not too bad for a first pass, but now it's time for some finer adjustments. You see me using those landscape stakes to gauge the separation and lever those pavers around to get them nice and even and in a pleasing pattern. You see me repeatedly wandering off to the left to get a good sight line on the pavers. With almost all the pavers laid out, it was easy to see where the eastern end had to be on the right there and put my boundary of upturned pavers there. These are again well embedded in compact roadbed aggregate material. The slope of the pavers and their extension to the right and around the curved wall is not as pretty as I had hoped, but I'm dealing with conflicting design goals here. I didn't want to move a lot of dirt or damage tree roots, so I decided I had to deal with the slopes as they were, and my boundaries had to serve a retaining wall function. If I cared to redo it, I might go for a little greater slope on the pavers to the upper right. Maybe could have made my extension to the right of the wall a little bit bigger, but it is what it is. Good enough, I think. Alternately, if I care to redo it, I might pull up all the pavers, use them somewhere else, and put more mulch and hardware cloth here. And my next step after that was to locate the odd-shaped pavers that I had cut to navigate around the end of the block. And unfortunately, I did not video that process, but I used a circular saw with a masonry blade to make shallow scores on one side of the pavers, and then I split them along the scores with a chisel, and that worked very well.
All right, so I decided I was happy enough with the placement of the tiles, and I started spreading sand just now, and then I realized this might be fun for a time lapse. But anyway, I've put like the remnants of the last bag and a quarter of this one out, and it's probably about half. That's probably a little less than half done, maybe. But anyway, so yesterday I figured that this is close enough. I mean, it's not perfect. This is a little off. This is a little high. Look, these don't quite line up. I remember when this cracked the other day when I was just moving it aside and I tossed it and it hit the ground and split. Doggone it. But anyway, that means it doesn't fit in quite nice, and this can maybe be tweaked a little bit. But anyway, good enough. It's good enough. My drive to perfection has met my drive to get it done in the middle, and this is where I'm at.